I continue to challenge myself here. I have a physical work as an NFT to start the show, but I just had to do it because it turned my head. Artist Journal, October 26th, 2022, Berlin. My name is Adrian Pocobelli, broadcasting to all the freaks, geeks, and weirdos that I include myself in, of course. It was funny. Haiti, as we're going to see, left a couple of comments on being on the show yesterday, which was totally awesome. I have a huge amount of respect for Haiti, and I was like, great achievement, and he's like, enough respect. Like, he was getting uncomfortable there, and I thought that's just like, it truly is kind of, I mean, it is pretty underground, a lot of what we cover, not all of it, and it just goes to show a lot of these guys are they're uncomfortable. I mean, who knows about Haiti, but in the sense that it's more comfortable sometimes in the shadows, and that's why I say, like, small is good. I don't mind, say, this program being small and kind of growing with the program, because you don't want to start your first episode talking to 100,000 people. That might be a little stressful, but if you grow with it, it's all right, perhaps. And I say that as well with artists, because you might think, like, everybody out there is trying to promote themselves. Not everybody, but you know what I'm saying? Like, the 10 are out there. We're in a world of people trying to promote themselves. And what I say to you, dear artists, and everybody else out there, is enjoy being small, because you can do whatever you want when nobody's listening to you. And then all of a sudden, if people are listening to you, all of a sudden it's like, oh, should I do that? Am I going to alienate this audience that I finally, put together? And I think a lot of artists have that. So it's kind of like, enjoy being in the shadows, enjoy being small, enjoy nobody listening to you. Very counterintuitive, because people get down and they say they leave the space because nobody's paying attention to them. I say, enjoy it. Anyways, here is a new player on the scene. We're going to see a very small Twitter account. So what is his name? John Roos, NFT version of an original John Roos painting, details of the original physical work. So done in 2022, pretty cool painter, nice sort of art. And you'll see here, kind of has a Francis Bacon feel to it. And we're going to look at a little bit of Francis Bacon, just so you can see what I mean, but you see it here. I actually think I brought this up in his Twitter. I did. So find my work on Foundation. So pretty cool is what I would say. Kind of well-timed for Halloween here a little bit. But yeah, for me, it kind of echoes a bit of a Francis Bacon sort of feel, but totally his own thing, by the way. But we're always looking for excuses to tie things to the tradition, but clearly quite a good painter. What's interesting is if you go to his Twitter, 236 followers here. So he is really fresh here. Artist, Denmark. So maybe he's done things in other places, and he's already on the front page of Foundation here. So congratulations to him. Anyways, just kind of turned my head. A very interesting painter. Very quickly, here's Francis Bacon, and I've never been a huge Francis Bacon fan, but I like his work. I've learned to really respect it. Like, I did see a show at the Met in New York maybe 10 years ago, and I didn't really know what to think of it. And of course, you like it over time. You kind of have to respect Francis Bacon. One of the really interesting things about him is I don't think he was formally trained. And his brushwork is stunning, and of course, he's the famous guy of the Screaming Popes here. And everything there. To me, it's a little dark. That's kind of why I like the pop artists a lot. I like people like Haiti, having fun. I love that stuff. Because all this contemporary art nightmare, there is definitely a place for it. But sometimes it feels like, I'll often go to shows out here in Berlin, and it's a bit of a downer, And sometimes it's nice I don't think art needs to be depressing to be interesting and great. And some of the best art is not depressing, So anyways, so here's Francis Bacon. We can go deeper into Bacon at another point maybe, but I just want to sort of show you kind of interesting similarities there a little bit. Just an echo, shall we say. And yeah, and you see it also here this is a really cool thing about Bacon, actually, is he creates spaces. See these lines in the background? And then we will get on with our show here. Bacon would often do this. You can kind of see it here in this Screaming Pope in the background, this creation of space in a really simple way. Here he's playing with it. So that's something that also makes Bacon really interesting, is just kind of putting these, emotional, organic figures into a kind of created space here. It's kind of like his stock and trade, kind of very simple concepts that he just kind of recycled and re-explored and iterated on over and over and over. And there's a lot to be said for that. So, of course, these go for an absolute fortune. Look at that. Francis Bacon triptych sells for $84 million. This is probably an old news article. 2020, June 2020, so right after the pandemic, coming out of the pandemic. It's probably worth more now. Anyways, let's continue on. So big thank you to Haiti Roquette, aka Carbon Copy FOMO Economy Product, who gave me the shout out here. Hey, Adrian Pocobelli, ultra mega thanks for the prime time. Huge heart, 77, yo. Yeah, so anyway, I always half know what he's talking about. I wonder if that's the class of 77 that he's talking about. I'd be the class of 96, but I think he means maybe I was born in 79. I wonder if that's what that means. If someone knows the reference, feel free to clue me in as always. And also, he was responding to this kind of cool cave thing, Cave 132 with artworks. So just a cool kind of, I don't know if this is an on cyber. It is. So just a cool on cyber. Looks like Guggenheim sort of style a little bit, dark Guggenheim. Dude, lol, totally hear ya, man. Thanks. This Cave and Pocobelli's Artist Journal made my day. You guys rock. So that makes my day, and it's always thrilling for me, especially someone like Haiti to come in and say, hey, appreciate being on the program in the prime time. Kind of blows my mind a little bit that this continues, but it's thrilling, and it's fun, and it's encouraging, and it's wonderful. Again, enjoy the bear market here, folks, because if Haiti's commanding, $50,000 a work, he's probably not going to have time to be watching this, much less tweeting about it. So now is the time to kind of create community for yourself. Continuing on. Interesting comment by Pixel Fool. It's been more than 500 days since I started selling my work for internet money. I've sold thousands of artworks. I've done more than 10 exhibitions in different countries, bought the art of hundreds of artists. A total of 0 traditional art galleries or art institutions helped me so far. So, kind of a double commentary here. I haven't needed, me speaking for Pixel Fool, Pixel Fool has not needed the traditional galleries or art institutions to basically succeed as an artist, first of all. And second of all, it's kind of interesting that traditional galleries and art institutions, it doesn't sound like they've reached out to him either. So this kind of bifurcated art scene to a certain degree, I think more and more traditional galleries and art institutions will be, because they will be forced to. But I thought this was just a very interesting comment here. Imagine if I just had believed NFTs are terrible and was still working at my corporate job. Yeah, so anyways. And yeah, he's saying, I'm not trying to put down trad institutions. I recognize they're important. I'm just saying that if I was relying on that and had not seen the long-term potential of NFTs, I'd had 0 opportunities. Yeah, that's true for so many of us. It's helped me enormously as an artist. And I think that's true for like 90% of the space, maybe 95. Continuing on, look at how little this work went for that I was waxing poetically about here and singing the praises of. To me, this is a next level work by Louis Osborne because in a sense, it's his version of a non finito, which gives it the sense of a true artwork. And I'm not saying that previous works, obviously the previous works are artworks, but they are kind of in this zone of graphic design art. when you start to play with these empty negative space like this in my universe, it kind of goes on to another level. And I think this is just an example of how the market, in my opinion, and you may have, and the market has a completely different opinion than I do, of how the market can get it wrong. We're very early, there's 1.563 ETH for this Louis Osborne, which I think is perhaps his best work. The previous one went for like 5, maybe over 5. To me, this is perhaps his best work. Maybe everybody might disagree with me on that, but that is just my sense. If I'd have known, I might have just, as a pure speculation, I don't do this generally, but just buy it for 1.6 if this guy would let me have it, and just put it right back on the market for 4 and just try and make some money there. So anyways, crowd control only went for 1.56. So I just hope Louis Osborne is not overly disappointed and doesn't take too much from that, because in my opinion, this is a breakthrough work for him. And he might not see it that way, but I sure do. And maybe it was accidental, who knows? But and so the reason I bring this up is don't take too much from this market of how it reacts to your work, okay? Like a lot is just there's a lot of hype out there. Don't think that the price is necessarily just. It is the market price, but it doesn't mean it's the right price, especially over time, right? There are a lot of trends that come and go, and so don't make too much of what your work is selling for. Either positive or negative is my takeaway. That is an example of that, in my opinion. That's how I read that. This is an interesting tweet that Rob V2 retweeted. The next 5 years of crypto art are going to be even wilder than the first 5. We're just getting started. John Perkins of Super Rare, and of course, Robness V2, he's right, And to me, again, this is an example of how we're early, in my opinion. Okay? Continuing on, Strange Thing makes it onto Super Rare. And so he has dropped an NFT. So let's just read the Super Rare announcement and NFT drop. I'm really thankful for how the community has taken to my work and helped me get to this point. Special thanks to Chriso Stoic and Clown Vamp, who have been amazing in supporting me as an artist. And so he is doing really well here. So this is the Genesis, as far as I understand, currently offered 2.2 ETH. And I believe this is called Our Father here. And so we see our classic, what looks like a classic AI distortion here, which artists like Strange Thing tend to celebrate. So that's an important kind of thing to understand here. If you're new to AI art, these distortions are celebrated. Maybe that's obvious, but I'm big on obvious things here. Kind of an interesting, I was trying to figure it out. Like, it does look like a king type figure with the beard. The crown looks like a play on the crown of thorns. So that's kind of confusing, because that makes me think of Jesus, and this doesn't look like Jesus at all. It's interesting too, you see the kind of lazy eye over here. This eye's looking over there. This eye's looking over here. Again, is this an AI distortion? Really cool though. And then of course, Strange Things trademark modern clothing in kind of old master painting style. I don't know what he's holding, but probably most of you do. It's some sort of object, and maybe you're not supposed to know what it is. Again, that seems to have a bit of a distortion. Is that like a lyre? Like one of those instruments? I'm not sure. So anyways, interesting work. Again, a $3,323 offer right now. And they're coming in pretty strong here. Scooney, Taj, and Maple Leaf. I think these are all, or at least a couple of these guys, they seem familiar here. Yeah, and so you can read all about that on Super Rare. Also, Die with the Most Likes is going to do another. This is not a news program, by the way. It's feeling like a news program right now. This is not a news program. I'm just going to want to remind everyone. And I'm reminding myself because I don't want this to be a news program. But I do like interesting things. And Die with the Most Likes is going to be doing collaboration with Fake Whale again. The mechanics are a little different here. 24-hour auction period, 10 editions, reserved for the highest offers. So last time they had it for 150 each, and they sold out like within a few minutes. I just missed one. And so this is a collaboration, actually, between Xerox and Die With The Most Likes. Looks pretty cool. A bit of a Halloween thing going, and we have a lot of Halloween works in this episode. Another just hat tip to Xerox for finding this work by Fatima Derakshi. This is a really cool work. Probably a lot of you saw this on, actually I'll get a higher resolution one on Taya, but he was just posting some of his favorite works. Let's see if there's volume here. No volume, but like, look at this work. Pretty cool, if you ask me. So I think this is 45. It's an edition of 20, and if you want it, it's going to cost you 45 Tezos. But like, you put that in a room and it will get attention. It will, it'll look like a pretty cool room. So again, this is the kind of stuff that if I'm MoMA, I'm just kind of scooping up left and right, because this is going for pennies on the dollar relative to their world. So a new work by Gloomtube, and just a Halloween work that he gave out to his collectors, and then he sold for like an hour and took off the market. So just a really nice, he does a lot of these stamps, and they're just kind of like, subtle, fun works. And he's got his trademark happy face on the pumpkin, carved out of the pumpkin, jack-o'-lantern stamp. So we're starting to see Halloween works here. This is a really dark one, but I like Ellie Lowe's work. Sorry. So pretty dark. A trash can goes through the sky. A hat tip to Robness V2. Hopefully that wasn't super loud. I apologize if that was. Continuing on, Minta also has a bit of a Halloween work here with 666 followers, and following 666, a screenshot where she looks a little Halloweenish herself. So another meta work by Minta in a Halloween spirit. And continuing on, pixel art by P1, Lil Witch Kit. So you're seeing all sorts of Halloween work. So people love this stuff. And here, I guess it's Halloween orange. And then you have the uniform. So pretty fun. If you ask me, there's the Witch's Cauldron. So just playing off of some sort of reference. I'm not sure. You see, like these look like almost like a model, like those Revel models where you have to actually twist this off. These look like they're attached, right? And then you put everything together, or maybe it's paper. I don't know. Maybe if you look through all of these hashtags, you can find out. Pastellet also has a Halloween work, and Pastellet does all this kind of woman is her subject in a lot of her work. And so you see the woman turn into a skull. So pretty terrifying here. Let me turn the volume back higher. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Buy for 10, edition of 10, Josephine Johnson and Emil Eklund. Beware the seductive call of the Huldra. I've never heard of the Huldra. And Shirley Preston also has a Halloween work. AI and just kind of a scary monster with some really cool eyes. Kind of looks like a gas mask turned into a skull with a bottle coming out of it. Kind of like a cloak of sorts here. Enter the Abyss. And Uxine just kind of naturally makes Halloween work with his own colors, of course. And it looks like a tarantula with a skull and a safe with lights coming out of it and a old Mac computer. Hello. Finding the impossible balance between tools of tyranny. So interesting. It's like social media is in this safe here. The computer is on the other side. These are the tools of tyranny, and the individual locked into almost this box that's almost like a screen with a spider over top. So Uxine, again, just kind of hitting it out of the park in terms of creativity. This is just a cool tweet I saw. Iteration GM. So I don't know how old. Iteration is the name of the artist. I don't know how old this is or what, but I just love that combination of computers and palm trees, and I'd never seen it. So I brought up their Tez, and it looks like they've done some vaporwave work. Looks almost like a FX hash. It is an FX hash. I feel like maybe I've seen this before. So just kind of a cool artist. And continuing on, this is like a new platform that I'd never heard of. 16 colors, ASCII by Arlequin. And you can see this. So I guess it's ASCII work. So I thought I'd just highlight this. I went to 16 colors, and this is what you see. So very old school looking, pretty cool. I don't know if that's all of the work or if this is maybe just the work by them. If you click on the home page. So anyways, just like a heads up, 16colo.rs, that is out there. A new work by Sad Girl. I think she was calling this Sadcore Glitch Art. I discovered this artist from Limbo's feed a few days ago, and I made sure to follow her. Just a really cool artist. So this is called Emosmosis by Sad Girl. Edition of 10, get it for $7.50. Another pixel work, this time by RMilk88. There we go. Let's just back. So just a mysterious work here. I mean, I love pixel art just by nature, so it's always interesting to see what people are doing. Let's turn that off. Shiva dances and plays. Nature is raging, everyone goes crazy. It's getting hard to find a safe place. No more time to be lazy. So interesting. Only 250 pixels by 250 pixels. Very cool. A new nebula by Bit by Bit. Only 9 Tezos. I love these works here. They're not selling super well, but I'm all over them. Someone was saying, who was it? NSF World or something, that, I help artists sell. It's possible, and I sometimes see a little bit of a bump, but it's actually remarkably, the market isn't actually overly affected, in my opinion, by what I'm doing here. It doesn't really matter, in a sense. I hope it is, in the sense of, for the artists. You see slight bumps here and there, as you'd expect. So anyways, new nebula from Bit by Bit, but I might pick that up. So that's good too. Santiago, just a cool abstract pixel work. So I thought just interesting. And another work by Santiago. So just interesting kind of pixel abstraction, and we're going to get into other digital abstract works here. So nice work. I'm not sure which platform this was on. Santiago's got a few. He's got, I don't know what these links are going to. Sorry, let me just kill this. So here you go. Solana, known origin. So he's got a few different pages here. Continuing on, Mika. It's just some interesting digital painting that I saw on the Twitter. So anyways, I thought just kind of interesting use of, I guess it's clicking and dragging or transforming, or kind of a glitch tool where you just, press and drag, however it works, whatever this person's doing, Mika is doing, and we'll look at their other works. Just cool one of ones on object. This is 30 Tezos. I guess you can still buy it. This one is gone. So just interesting digital painting experiments. So I just note that in passing here as we scan the digital landscape here. So you see there's a lot. There's only one that's available for the mint price, from what I can tell. Digital abstract artists, Mika. And another kind of digital abstract, this time by Yuri J. This is on Exchange Art 24-hour auction, and the reserve is 3 sol. So just interesting to see how people are experimenting with digital painting. Koda Nakazono also has a work. Let's hit play here. See if there's any volume. No volume, but just kind of a mysterious work. Again, this kind of has Contemporary Art Gallery written all over it. Receipts, blobby forms, kind of almost has like a kind of internet, 2000s internet painting sort of feel. Anyway, interesting work. Did I bring up their page? I did. I make stuff, I create abstract CG. So here it is. This feels like a bit of a breakthrough work here, but I haven't looked at a ton of their work. I guess they were working with these blobs before, but this one really seems to work. It's 25 Tezos, still available. Another digital artist, and then I woke up, and so again, just combining different textures here. This is by Milaya, edition of 10. These are all gone. Let's just see what they sold for 5. And they sold basically within a day. They sold within a day for 5 Tezos each. Yuri J. Isolationist feels pretty nice collectors there for Milaya. Here is some of Milaya's other work. And yeah, so just a new artist I hadn't seen. So again, that last one feels like a bit of a breakthrough there. So nice work. Another digital painter. We're looking at a lot of digital painters today. That was a bit of the theme. Is this Tooks? How do you say this? Tooks.eth. So anyway, this just also kind of turned my head. More experimentation. This is on Foundation. You can see it here. I'm not sure if we looked at that yesterday. This was also a really nice work. I think I brought it up here. So it's kind of hard to tell what's going on here, to be perfectly honest, but it's interesting, isn't it? And you kind of get a bit of a contrast of these flat blocks of color with kind of complex, kind of digital noise, really just digital stuff, abstract, a little bit of spray paint in here. It seems like some sort of fragmentation tool is at work. Just hard to kind of pin down. Glitch, painting, and collage techniques. Yeah, okay, that sounds about right. New breakfast menu item from our guy Trez at Rodanks, formerly known as Fax Machinovich. I picked one of these up. For some reason, I love this series. Maybe it's the simplicity, like the white background. Nice little treatment. You can see the whole series here. Yeah, I find white backgrounds are really kind of original and unique. It makes it all about the subject, doesn't it? So I really just enjoy that series. There is a new work by Levon going into more representational painting. Is this Jason? Maybe I actually got this one right. At first I was like, is this Phantom of the Opera? But the mask is not broken. So maybe it's Jason. I don't know who this is. Feel free to leave a comment if you know the reference. This is Incognito 8. I don't know if I've gotten any of these monsters right, or these, villains. So this is for bid for another 8 hours here, so probably you'll be able to get a chance if you watch this today. Ready for the Storm, Gabby Walters. Buy for 24, edition of 10. Usually his work goes pretty quickly. And he does often the Mickey Mouse with the broken ear, so I guess that's here. And I think he mentioned something about fashion. Fashion, classic oil, Argentina. So I assume this is a digital oil painting. It looks like a digital oil painting, just in the color, the brightness of the color here. And then, of course, some of his classic iconography, the angel with the kind of happy face mask. It's just kind of classic Gabby Walters. So available for 24, edition of 10. I don't know if it says here oil though. So this could be a physical work. It's always nice to know. Ready for the Storm. Impossible Sneakers by Sky Goodman. Let's see if there's any volume here. No, just the animation. So interesting concept. Impossible sneakers. So they're usually just kind of moving, and a play on footwear. So interesting, kind of done in his shiny style, kind of VR. Again, he uses a lot of different software and exports between them, which I'm a big fan of doing. Here's Martin Joe, who has been a big supporter of this program, and we haven't shown Martin Joe's work yet. So here's a Kinky Pietà. So this is a one-of-one at auction for 20. And so just kind of cool. It kind of has a bit of a Christmas theme on it. and with all sorts of straps and whatnot. And I also missed this one, Thug Bear, where it's a play on Strange Things classic work, I assume, but playing with the shoes, changing the gender somewhat, and also just putting on that little mouthpiece there. And so anyways, craziness from Martin Joe. Thank you for all the support and interesting work. Edgy. Continuing on, AI architecture in Pepe as we go into AI here. And I thought this was just interesting. Right? Just another take on Pepe, another take on AI. All right, so as we just try and consume as much as we can, cool variation on a theme. Now, this is not my typical kind of work here. The reason I brought up this work is because this is by Indie Doe Nifty, who we know from all these works over here. We've been looking at a ton of their work. So this feels like a bit of a different direction here. I don't know if there's something to do with, I don't know why. And you see it kind of moves a bit. I don't know if this is a Halloween thing or just trying out something new. So I just wanted to highlight that. Subterranean Daydreams, is that a new series? It is. So we're looking at a new series here by an AI artist, visual experimentalist, who seems to be using a lot of AI. Uda Museum found this one, Backwash by Nugmanov Artst. And I thought that just kind of was interesting. Never seen anything quite like that. It's kind of just another take on AI. Just slightly different, kind of almost photorealistic here. I'm seeing a lot of like photorealistic, more photorealistic art, and Javier Tomeo, Eclipse. So again, playing now with the eclipse in these landscapes, in these kind of surreal landscapes. And finally, a work by Quila Nina. This, I believe, is physical, acrylic and oil. And she's always just got these great kind of mystical works. And just kind of reminds me of the kind of work you'll see of artists that have, either from or near the Amazon area. I wonder where she's from. It kind of has a bit of a South American feel to it. I have no idea, though, where she's from. So from her Mystic series. That, my friends, is your program. Thank you for watching once again. Until next time, take care.